Hey everybody, and welcome back once more for another one of Goose the Grey solo casts. Today I am spectating off of a challenger friend of mine, so it should be a pretty fun game, pretty interesting. And we already have both of the teams out here on the Rift. I'll just rearrange the champion icons real quick so we don't get too confused with those. Give me just a second. The Lee Sin queue there, checking the bush, but Kale smartly in the right spot so as not to be seen. Alright, here we go. I do believe I have everybody lined up now. Nope, I messed up Jinx and Gargastel. There we go. So, looking at this game right now, couple of things that are interesting. I love the Morgana pickup as a support up against a Leona lane. It's so nice. Just because this Morgana, you can just stand there and be like, haha, Leona, your combo is not working with me. Just because of that. Dark Shield, of course, interrupting the nice crowd control lockdown cycle that Leona has, and it's really useful. On the other lanes, of course, we do have a Rengar once again. He was disabled for a while, and now I finally see him back in a high-level game. I'm really excited about that one. We do have Katarina in the mid lane as well, and Rengar is going to find Renekton here. The two of them going to bash heads for a bit. Renekton with that Cull the Meek, doing a little bit of damage, but so far it's pretty even between the two. Rengar backed off first, so Renekton gets an extra swing in, slightly in his favor. It's both of the junglers starting on the bottom half of the map. Gonna make their way towards the top then, and maybe we'll see them both meet in that top lane for an early 2v2. For the time being though, it's just a calm start, no real early aggression aside from this top lane, of course. Renekton has a nice amount of early sustain, but Leona goes in with the Zenith Blade here. Trying to do a little bit of damage. Morgana able to walk away. Caitlyn was not able to follow it up with any damage either. She was engaged in trading with Jinx. So far, all the lanes pretty even, but Leona and Caitlyn have the pushing advantage. Another Zenith Blade goes in. Again, no real extra damage. At least the Piltover Peacemaker came in. A nice Dark Binding out of Morgana. Jinx putting in another hit onto Leona. But that Caitlyn-Leona lane will hit level 2 first. Caitlyn is already level 2. Leona will be in just a second, and we'll have to see. If Morgana steps a little bit too far out, she could be in danger. Is now level 2 as well. But Jinx is still 1. Leona and Caitlyn is really a lane you have to watch out for, because if they get a level advantage on you at any point in the game, especially once they get to level 6, once Leona hits level 6 on any lane, really, is when you have to take extreme care not to be out of position, because you will die if you are. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we do have a nice amount of trading. Of course, NIP Nuke able to jump around so much with that Shunpo, able to dodge a lot of Gragas' skill shots. Top lane. This will just be a match of bashing heads. Both of them have their sustain skills, so they'll keep gaining back HP and then bashing one another. So they both lose it again. A nice Zenith Blade lands in the bottom lane, but the Shield of Daybreak, of course, was blocked by that Dark Shield. And then the Dark Binding missed Leona, but here comes Kale now around the corner. Jinx is pretty low, though, so blue team has to be careful. Here's the Zenith Blade, and there's the stun, actually. This time it landed. Morgana with a nice Dark Binding, and now Kale comes in. The Ignite is already down. One more hit. There's the barrier. Is it going to be enough? The Ignite is still ticking. No! Caitlyn's going to survive, but now Leona's in a whole world of trouble. Is there a zap to come out on her? It doesn't look like it right now. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Gragas and Katarina trading quite avidly. Gragas ignites Katarina, but it does look like she's still going to be able to escape, and Lee Sin comes around. Now, here is another nice Dark Binding onto Leona, and that's going to be first blood for Morgana. Her Tormented Soil picks that one up. Gragas was able to nicely juke the Q from Lee Sin, was able to walk away. So a lot of low health bars, a lot of trading back and forth. But in the end, that's first blood for the blue team, gaining a 500 gold advantage for themselves for the time being. Now in the mid lane, we do see Katarina going with that Ruby Crystal, opting for a little bit of extra HP. I expect her to pick up the Spirit Visage very early on, actually. Oh no, the Haunting Guys, that's what I meant, not the Spirit Visage. Haunting Guys, so she'll go for this, then an Amptome, and then that item. Now Lee Sin is in the top lane, landed the Sonic Wave, but a nice slice and dice from Renekton will get him out of safety. There's the dice, so he's going to be comfortable. As we take a look across the other lanes, mid lane, Gragas pulling ahead a tiny bit. Of course, he hasn't been back to base yet, and Katarina just recalled, so once he does do that, he's probably going to fall a bit behind himself. On the bottom lane, we have 20 CS on Jinx to 23 on Caitlyn, but the main thing is that Jinx has that Vam Scepter completed, whereas Caitlyn only with those two Dorn's Blades, and Morgana here taking a huge amount of damage, was a little farther out than she should be. Does have that Nomad's medallion though, so she will resustain herself. And of course Morgana does have a nice amount of spell vamp as well. If she manages to hit a couple of her abilities, she'll be able to sustain herself back a bit. Now Kayle in the mid lane trying to help that out a bit. Probably giving Gragas the breathing room to recall. Really right now it's the two teams just kind of waiting for each other. In Season 4 it's become a lot more of this, we'll wait for a while and then suddenly everything explodes, but a nice amount of damage onto Leona, and she does get caught on the Flame Chompers as well. Now she's going very low. There's no ignite on Morgana, but more damage still coming out. One more hit, the flash out of Jinx actually, the counter flash of Leona came out as well. The Dark Binding and the Zap missed. Now Lee Sin is here, and Jinx is solo. She's going to go down to the Sonic Wave out of Lee Sin. Now Morgana surely going to be taken down as well. Lee Sin flashing one more auto attack. He does get it. She turned around to cage him. He does take a nice amount of tower damage. And here comes Kayle. She is instantly stunned up by Leona though. And that's Caitlyn picking up another kill. You cannot do that versus a Leona. The CC is so harsh. And now in the top lane, Renekton behind the T1 tower, flashing over the wall, trying to keep himself safe. Does have that dominance running. Mid lane, nice explosive barrel, knocking Katarina back. She goes back in with that Shunpo, keeping herself safe. Now Rengar is still jumping onto Renekton, but the nice slice of dice with that ignite is going to pick up the kill for Renekton. Nicely done. He's actually going to be the one to come out ahead on that one. And right now it's a 2-3, 500 gold in favor of the red team. That was just a very nice fight on that bottom lane and really got a lot of gold over to Caitlyn. And of course Lee Sin as well. 2-0-1 on Lee Sin, 1-0-2 on Caitlyn now. And that's exactly where they're wanting to be. Lee Sin can be such a high impact early game jungler that if he gets ahead of it, he's already got those boots of mobility now. He's going to be zooming around the map everywhere trying to make things happen, and that's really what Lee Sin does in the early game. Now with that 2-kill lead, he'll be perfectly comfortable in doing so. Caitlyn with that kill and the 2 extra assists. Now after going back, she was able to pick up that BF sword, and that's going to get her nice and even in that lane, or actually ahead in that lane, as Jinx still only with that Vamp Scepter and a Doran's Blade is not going to be quite able to deal with the extreme amount of damage that Caitlyn will now be able to put out. And Caitlyn, despite being back for a very long time now, still even in CS, so nice spot for her to be in. Gragas trying to do more damage in the mid lane. Nicely done. Katarina doesn't have any minions to Shunpo right now. There's the flash. The ignite goes down as well. Counter ignite actually as well. And now Gragas very low. Nice attempt at a barrel, but Katarina gonna Shunpo and pick up that kill. Nicely done by her. And Kayle is looking for the return. She doesn't have her flash up though. So Katarina with another Shunpo just able to get away. And that was what I mentioned with that Shunpo. She's able to dodge the barrel so very easily. And it came back and cost them. Nice Dark Binding onto Caitlyn, but no follow up this time. That Dark Shield also preventing any further aggression out of Leona. Of course, the Zenith Blade had already missed. And now we do see the lane spread apart a tiny bit. Top lane, Renekton, with already a Giant's Belt and a Chain Vest. Of course, he did pick up that kill earlier, and he's been out-CSing Rengar consistently. Rengar at 47 with that Vamp Scepter, trying to sustain himself a little bit. Zenith Blade lands in the bot lane. The Piltover Peacemaker came in as well. That's more than half of Jinx's HP gone. Nice Dark Binding landing onto Caitlyn, but that's about all that's going to happen there. Jinx is in danger, and Morgana's not been quite able to provide the support that she has to be in that lane. Just because Leona Caitlyn is so scary. Another Zenith Blade landed onto Morgana this time around. Again, the Dark Shield was there to prevent any further aggression, but right now the red team in full control of this bottom lane, and the mid lane definitely swinging in their favor as well. 57 CS to 45, and Katarina now has that Haunting Eyes completed. This pink ward will probably not live long. Morgana alone cannot do much against this Caitlyn Leona, and that was just a waste of a pink ward in the end. That lived about 15 seconds and cost Morgana 100 gold, so she's going to be poor if she keeps doing stuff like that. Kayle now making her way to the bottom lane, but Lee Sin is in mid, and Gragas going pretty low there. He's still under his tower, and Lee Sin will actually be able to be knocked back into the tower. He doesn't quite have as many escape mechanisms, but he was just knocked aside. Is going to be able to stay safe, and Gragas lives to see another day as well. Going to take out that ward under his tower, going to appreciate the extra bonus gold. But Lee Sin with a nice gank attempt there. Didn't quite work out yet. But in the end, it just puts more pressure on the blue team to do something right now, because they're falling behind. They're 800 gold down, 2 to 4 in kills. Question is when and for whom will the first tower die? And the red team just has a lot of mobility between Rengar, who can jump in and out of bushes, or out of bushes rather, with his auto attacks, and of course with that ultimate has a nice speed boost. And then there's Katarina with a Shunpo. Then there's Lee Sin with his safeguard that he can jump everywhere, and of course the Sonic Wave with its follow-up as well. The red team just with a lot of options to get in and out of fights. And then of course Leona with that nice engage goes in with another Zenith Blade, and Gragas here under his tower is going to almost get taken down. Nice intervention out of Kale, and now Lee Sin was a little bit too deep, wasn't able to get out of the tower range quickly enough, and that's actually Gragas surviving, takes another bounce out of Katarina, almost goes down. Nice turnaround there though, and Renekton still pushing strong in this top lane, trying to make things happen. Of course with Lee Sin having to focus so much on mid and bot, he's been able to be left alone in top lane, and right now the red team, that ace in the hole, gonna thread around Jinx, gonna pick up the kill onto Morgana. She was pretty low from that engage earlier, and Jinx just not able to intercept that bullet. So Morgana goes down, and Jinx has to fend for herself for a little bit. And there's the Solar Flare now. The Zenith Blade comes in as well. Shield of Daybreak, so much damage onto Jinx. It's nice Flame Choppers though with that Rockets, finally picking up Leona on the return kill. Did go down herself, but nice job there at least, making it count for herself as well. Now that's a 2-0-3 Caitlyn. She's getting scary, but with that extra gold, Jinx was able to pick up a BF sword herself. She's going to be able to trade damage back better now. Katarina moving up to the top lane. There is a ward spotting her out, but Renekton is confident that he can do this. There's of course a ward from the red team as well, so she's going to see Renekton moving towards her, and he wants this. He's dashing into her, then getting the stun down. Gragas almost coming over the wall, but she does Shunpo away to a ward. That's really Katarina and Lee Sin, two of those champions that benefit hugely from the trinket change, and that's a nice dragon opportunity for the red team with all the pressure they have across the entire map, and of course sending both Jinx and Morgana back to home. Gragas moving towards the top lane. There was just a lot of free time for Lee Sin and Caitlyn to move around, pick up that dragon, and that's going to be a nice amount of gold. 1,300 gold now in favor of the red team. They're making their advantages count. First arrow will go down for the red team, for the blue team though, as soon as Renekton decides to take this one down. Not quite yet. That's going to be pretty nice for them as well, trying to get themselves back into the game, and they need every advantage they can get right now. Their bot lane is heavily falling behind. Caitlyn already with that Bloodthirster at 203, now 77. Yes, still dead even, but as Caitlyn will become pretty terrifying. Katarina, if she's allowed to snowball any further, will become really, really scary as well. Then, top lane, Rengar will always be a threat. Lee Sin starting to get a little bit tanky. That's his role in this game. He's not allowed to do that much damage, but he has to be the frontline tank. Is really, aside from Rengar, there isn't anyone else on his team that can fulfill that role. I guess Leona, but it's going to take her quite a while to get really tanky, especially if that bot lane doesn't get quite as many kills. Almost getting that blue steal. Nice try, Jinx. Lee Sin picking that up for himself, though. He's going to say thank you very much for the additional help. I'm just going to sustain myself back up. Of course, the jungle item changed quite nice for all the low sustain junglers, and Lee Sin even has some sustain built in. Now Katarina finds Kale in the jungle. The intervention came out. Here's Gragas now. Nice explosive cast dodge actually, and that forces the flash out of Kale. Gragas not too happy with that ult, and now Katarina can go back in. There's Lee Sin on the back foot trying to follow that up. Meanwhile in the bottom lane, nice dark binding, but it's not good enough. Jinx slow HP backing off under the tower again, and this bottom tower could go down with the next wave that's coming in. And of course we can take a look at the gold shared in the spot lane as well. It's already at about 500 for Leona. And at this point, nice! That's going to be a kill! Beautifully done with that ace in the hole. Again, threading around the other ally of the blue team. That's going to be the bottom tower going down. 1-1 in towers now, 4-7 in kills. The red team racking up the advantages. And now that's a 3-0-3 Caitlyn with even more gold. And the more this is allowed to happen, the stronger the red team will get. But Renekton wants a return kill, wants a revenge kill for his tower going down, but he's not going to be able to do so. Ignite going to run out on Rengar, and he's going to be able to walk away. Has that Hydra and the Bam Scepter, looking to build that. No, he has the team out. But Gragas in trouble. That's a Zenith Blade. That's a Shield of Daybreak. That's a kill for Katarina. Not much more to say about that one. Mid tower going down now as well. And all of a sudden, the red team grabbing a bunch of advantages all over the map. And the question is, how well can they transition these into further advantages? Shield of Daybreak still coming out in the mid lane, but the red team decides not to do anything more as Morgana comes around as well. That Dark Shield not doing too much anymore, and Leona decides to go back in. The Ignite is down as well, but Morgana going to be able to walk away from this one. Has to stay careful, and Renekton is really the only one on the blue team that's doing well at this point, and he's making it count up there in the top lane. Has that Sunfire Cape and a Brutalizer done. Is split pushing behind the T2 tower. Has gotten a nice amount of damage onto that as well, but now there are 3 members of the red team chasing him. Katarina's pretty low though, so she's in danger if Renekton catches onto her. There's the dominance coming out, and the slice and dice. The stun comes down, and Renekton wants to get this kill. Nice Lee Sin kick to get him out of there. He flashes out of the Caitlyn trap before it's armed, and he may actually be able to get away. Is his slice and dice up? No, it is not yet, and there's the ace in the hole threading through. Caitlyn does a nice amount of damage, but the explosive cast is going to keep him safe. Renekton able to walk away from this, and now there are a lot of members from the blue team, and Gragas actually able to pick up that kill with a beautiful body slam across the wall, then the barrel, then the ignite, everything onto Katarina, and she did not count for his damage. Now Jinx versus Rengar in the bottom lane. Look at that damage out of Rengar. Jinx has no way to stand against this and gets exploded. That Ravenous Hydra doing work, and of course the ignite coming out onto Jinx as well. She had nothing to say in the matter. Just went down almost instantly, not having the best of games. 1-4-1 at this point. Still keeping up in CS though, so that's going to be nice for her. And of course she did take out the bottom outer turret as well, so it's now 3-3 in towers. Red team's still racking up the advantages though, 2,000 gold at this point. And as soon as Katarina finishes those first big items, she's going to get pretty dominant in that mid lane. She's got about a 20 CS advantage. So that's where her lead comes from, and now she's 2-1-0 as well. Katarina, once she gets those resets in the team fights, she's going to be really terrifying. And with a Rengar that can burst, with a Caitlyn that does a lot of damage, with a Lee Sin that still, despite building tanky, will also be able to burst, those resets will probably happen unless she's focused down really quickly. The nice thing for the blue team is they still have that intervention out of Kayle to save someone. And if Kayle is... Excuse me, I do think I'm going to have to sneeze again soon, but not just yet. There's Katarina looking for the pick. Nice solo flare coming out, and look at Jinx getting exploded. Still gets away though. Nice dark binding out of Morgana now. Gragas walking into trouble maybe. Katarina and Leona still looking for a bit of extra damage. Kayle coming around that will thwart any further aggression. Lee Sin walking into a dark binding. Still trying to get in on that one. That was not the ace in the hole. That was just Lee Sin trying to do a little bit more damage in the mid lane. But Rengar currently top, Caitlyn bottom lane, and then the rest of the red team in this mid lane, or rather in the jungle next to the mid lane. It's a 1-3-1 split push, and really, Rengar will not be able to push it in too far against Renekton, despite now having the Ravenous Hydra, and almost a Last Whisper as well. But he's still able to shove that wave in, and Caitlyn in the bottom lane will be completely able to outduel Jinx. Look at this, she's going to take her out again. Nice 90 caliber net plus pull to Peacemaker combination. Then the ace in the hole to finish off that kill. 4-0 for Caitlyn now. That Last Whisper doing work as well. Jinx had no way to escape that. 1-5-1 now. Now, Kayle actually getting hit up very hard there. Gragas in the mid lane trying to escape in his jungle. He's going to go down. Rengar picking up that kill. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Katarina got the kill onto Kayle. Now Morgana went down to Katarina, and Renekton has nowhere to walk either. He still wants that kill onto Katarina. Will he be able to get it? No, she flashes away. The ignite is still ticking. He's trying to get to her, and he's not going to even get Lee Sin, who was behind him the entire time. And the red team coming at huge with a 5-for-0 trade, basically. They've now gotten another kill, and the rocket from Jinx just narrowly missing Lee Sin. That would have been a kill. Nice attempt there. So very close. The red team could go for the dragon here. Lee Sin already going over that wall. Rengar, of course, still pushing the mid lane. Caitlyn still took out that tower in the bottom lane at this point. It's looking really grim for the blue team. They're 5,000 gold behind. They have to make things happen soon, or the disadvantage will just be too huge to still overcome. Rengar, meanwhile, in the mid lane is going to get stunned up by that Morgana ultimate, but with his stealth, he just jukes them, goes around behind them, and now they're re-engaging. Katarina's here, Leona's there. Nice solo flare after the flash, but the dark shield from Morgana was there, and nobody else got hit up. Now they still tried to do a little bit extra damage, but that black shield prevented any of the real aggression that was planned to actually come out. Lee Sin picking up another blue buff. That's really the nice thing if you have a monoless mid laner. I mean, it would still be nice on Katarina just for added cooldown reduction, but Lee Sin gonna love this blue buff as well. It's helping him make his way across the map a little bit quicker, do a little bit more for his team all over the place. And he has been. He's 2-1-4. He's been doing quite well, and what he really did was create the early lead for his team, and that was where he was needed. That those 3 kills in the bot lane really snowballed heavily if we look at those 2 lanes now. I mean, 5-0-4 on that Caitlyn. She couldn't be happier. I know I've mentioned this so many times, but it's just where the core advantage for the red team lies right now in an 80 carry. That's so strong this early in the game. We're just past the 20-minute mark. That's just not something you want to have to deal with. And already the red team sieging again on that mid lane. They've got 5 towers down on the mid lane, on the map. Only the inner tower on that top lane still alive. After that, it's only inhibitor towers. So the red team in a pretty commanding position right now, and the blue team has to figure out a way to come back from this. Look at that damage onto Renekton, and here goes Kayle, that intervention coming out, and Renekton still blocking that ultimate. That was actually not the best of moves. Dominance also being used just for the disengage, and at this point there have been so many ultimates from the blue team being used just to keep themselves safe that the red team could even tower dive this if they wanted to. They're already pretty beefy, and they have all the advantages. Lee Sin going so deep, wanted to get onto Gragas, but there's the solo flare as well. Now Lee Sin is already gone down Leona in a very bad spot. Nobody else from the team was able to follow it up, so the blue team going to say thank you very much. We get 2 kills. We almost get back into this game, or at least we have a chance to do so. Now Katarina has to be careful. Nice dark binding landing onto Caitlyn as well. She's going to go down for sure. Your flashes away. Still has that ignite ticking. But Katarina, meanwhile, took out 1 kill in the mid lane. Rengar coming around, saving Caitlyn just in the nick of time. She picks up the kill onto Jinx. And now Katarina still wants more under the tower. Does get Morgana. Kayle comes back around and does a nice amount of damage. The ultimate from Katarina. Then she flashes over the wall, and Rengar finalizes that kill. Beautifully done by the red team. 19-7 now. 8,000 gold, and at this point, it's really just waiting for the bitter end. Renekton did well in his lane, but at this point, he just didn't do well enough. Rengar, after roaming around the map, has got 5-1-3 on the scoreboard for himself right now as well. That Ravenous Hydra, Last Whisper, and the recurve bow all in his back pockets, and he's just a monster as it stands. And then Caitlyn and Katarina and Rengar, and I mean, meanwhile you have Lee Sin and Leona trying to run interference. At this point there are too many threats on the red team that the blue team would have to focus down and concentrate on in a team fight. So now the bottom inhibitor has gone down, and the red team has to take care not to get counter Baron. The blue team could try and rush that, but with only Caitlyn going back, I don't think there's really an opening. The red team going to be able to kind of slow push this to an end now. They have the inhibitor down in the bot lane, and look at Renekton taking so much damage from Katarina and Lee Sin. They're trying to get out of this. Nice Dragon's Rage kick onto Kayle just to keep himself safe for a little bit longer. He's leading them on a wild goose chase, and Katarina actually doing a lot of damage to Morgana. Now she has to be careful with Gragas. Nice explosive cast. The dark binding hits. That's going to be the end of Katarina. She tried, and the Super Mega Death Rocket will finish her off. Lee Sin, meanwhile, was able to escape that, and here comes Rengar, trying to make a kill happen for himself. The intervention going to stop him from doing that, and now the red team is just getting caught. They're a little overconfident. I don't know why they would do this, but they keep engaging 1 versus 5, and it's costing them now. Caitlyn getting caught out. That dark binding almost landing on her, but she's going to pick up the return kill onto 1. Is she going to get a second? Yes, she will. Nice job by Leona as well with that Zenith Blade. It always drags you to the furthest back member. That's another beautiful kill. Renekton actually able to walk away from that after picking up Caitlyn. Now Jinx is able to get Lee Sin. Leona is almost able to finalize that kill onto Renekton, but not quite. She's going to go down. Jinx now very happy. 4-6-5. All of a sudden she got a bunch of kills. All of a sudden she did get kind of powerful. And at this point the blue team has that glimmer of hope that you get after having a nice team fight around your own base when the enemy team is so far ahead. Rengar actually went for his Sword of the Divine. I haven't seen that one in a long time. We'll see if he's able to make it count, or if it just doesn't do much for him at all. Katarina now sitting around the Baron pit. This might be the focus of the red team after not being able to brute force their way in the enemy base just now. That might be their next approach. But Morgana is around there. Katarina sitting over the wall. She doesn't have a ward, so she doesn't know if anyone's there. Rengar in the enemy jungle as well gets caught out by Kayle, and she does still have her intervention, so he's going to be able to keep himself safe. Now Rengar, nice Deathfire Grasp after the flash, and that's Morgana going to be going down. She used her ultimate as well. Rengar going to jump away to the minions. Nice. The Super Mega Death Rocket misses, and at this point Rengar and Katarina will be pretty much uncatchable. Renekton is sitting in that bush, could go in. Kayle is on his backside, so she could help. Katarina very bold right now. I don't think she's expecting Renekton to be around, and if she gets slowed and then stunned, there's nowhere for her to go. And here comes Renekton. There's a stun onto her, and Oh my god, Katarina, you just got caught. You're going down so quickly. Even that shield from the face of the mountain out of Leona will not save you. Leona now in a whole world of trouble. Flashes over the wall, tries to get herself out, and does look like she's able to. Escapes across the wall. Caitlyn, meanwhile, in that bottom lane, farming away happily. And that's Dragon respawning now. The red team will pick that up for themselves. There's nothing the blue team can do to stop that. A lot of pings here. Somebody's spamming them completely. 22 to 13 in kills. Leona here could bait in the enemies. There are a lot of her team members coming around the corner, and Caitlyn instantly going on to Renekton. That Zenith blade, but the explosive cast with the disengage, beautifully done here, and Renekton is probably still going to go down. There are so many enemy members. Nice intervention out of Kayle, keeps him safe for the time being. Caitlyn's still on the chase. 90 caliber net came out, and Renekton still healthy, still running. That was another nice shot out of Caitlyn, but that heal out of Kayle kept him safe. There's Ace in the hole. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it will be. After Lee Sin did a little bit of extra damage. That Sonic Wave missing, though. Now the red team can go for Baron. They have this opening. The enemy tankiest member, that Renekton, is down right now. And really, it's down to the rest of the blue team. Kayle recalling with very low mana. She's not there to even attempt to steal with her smite. So it's just down to Gragas with his explosive cask to attempt and steal this. Oh, he doesn't even have it up, so this should be a completely free Baron for the red team. That kill onto Morgana, and the reset came in as well. That's going to be another kill onto Gragas, most likely. The Super Mega Death Rocket not enough to steal the kill, and now she didn't get Gragas, but she's still hanging around the corner. Doesn't quite manage to catch onto Gragas. After that, Kayle Q came in. Nice dodge of the zap out of Jinx, and here comes Lee Sin. Doesn't quite land the Sonic Wave, only hitting minions with that one. Does get the cripple down, and is pretty low. Nice explosive cast out of Gragas, and all of a sudden the red team should retreat here. They're pretty low on the HP and have to kind of be careful not to get picked off now that the blue team is coming in with full HP bars and those home guard boots. And at least one of their members. I mean, Kayle has them. Nobody else has deemed them worthy of buying yet. Lee Sin's so bold here. It just shows how far ahead the red team is. They can stand around after, even in a bad situation like that, and still just feel completely confident. Rengar, meanwhile, went off to the top lane, is pushing that. He's still behind in CS, but he's made it count for himself. 5, 2, and 4. Then Katarina, of course, has by now pulled ahead in CS, is really stacked up on items. Is Morgana going to go down here? That Ace in the hole chunking her for a whole bunch, and that cooldown on Ace in the hole is short. The bottom inhibitor is exposed, so the red team is pushing in on that, but Caitlyn's staying it around mid. She's going to keep pushing that wave and then try and take out that inhibitor on her own. Rengar is on his way back to his team, and that Baron regeneration on every one of the red team really counting for them, really making things happen, enabling them to stick around for much longer time than they should be able to. Rengar maybe getting himself caught here. Renekton did see him, that slice, not hitting any enemies though, and here they actually turn it around. They try to pick up the kill. That's going to be it. And even though Rengar got caught in the dark binding, the kill was not able to be returned, and now Leona going very deep onto Kayle. Nice Solar Flare as well. Is Kayle going to be able to survive? Nope. Stupid question. Caitlyn picking that one up. Now Jinx in a whole world of trouble, as is Gragas. Lee Sin just standing around there, zoning both of them out. Nice Zenith Blade onto Morgana, and there's a Deathfire Grasp. Morgana going to go down. Nice attempt to knock Katarina into the fountain, but she's going to just Shunpo out again. And even though Morgana took down Leona, that was a 4-for-1 exchange in favor of the red team. They're going to be able to take down this inhibitor and possibly even end the game at this point. Rengar's still around there. They go on to Jinx. That Ace in the hole going to finish her off. Nicely done. Red team picking up another kill, and Ace, and that's the first Nexus Tower going down. The second one will be down in just a second, and such long respawn timers, and the surrender vote actually ending the game after 28 minutes, 59 seconds, 29 to 14. Just an overwhelming lead from the red team, and it all came from that bottom lane. 10, 1, and 8 on that Caitlyn, 1, 5, 11 on the Leona, and it was all that early triple kill, basically, where 1 went over to Caitlyn, 2 went over to Lee Sin. That swung the entire lane in the red team's favor, and from then on, they just capitalized on every advantage they saw. So, GG well played, nicely done by both the teams, and I hope you liked watching this. My voice is a little bit weak, as I have been a little bit sickish the last couple of days, and my microphone isn't the best right now, but I still hope you liked it. And if you did, I would love it if you liked the video, subscribe to my channel, because I will be doing more of these in the future. And of course, you can also follow my Twitter. The link will be in the description, and I'll post updates there every now and then, say if I'm casting, say if I'm streaming, stuff like that. And of course, whenever I'm casting a tournament, it'll be there as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the flips.